Attorney Sharifa Tharpe. I'm here live to take your U.S. immigration related questions. Go ahead and put your questions in the comments now. I'm here to answer questions. So you can come on and ask your immigration questions. We've been here busy at the firm filing, continue to file despite the government shutdown. They're still working to process applications. Of course, things are slower, but we are still seeing progress. And things have been slower from January that we've seen receipt notices taking longer. Processing times are creeping up as well, but they continue to process. And this is where it's so important to make sure you're taking advantage of the legal processes in place to get protection and be able to continue your lives here. Whatever your goals here are, if you're an immigrant and you have to first achieve a certain immigration status to be able to achieve your goals, now is the time to get in touch with us and talk to us about it. So what I've been doing things a little different. I have been, taking questions live. So go ahead and put your questions in the comments so that I can answer your questions live. Let's see here. I am going to move it. So I'm on Facebook, I'm on YouTube as well, taking questions. So make sure you're putting the questions in the comments here. If you want to join me live to ask your immigration questions, go ahead. I can send you an invitation and then you can come on, ask your question, and also type your question. So I think what I'll do is I'll answer questions typed first, give people time to send their requests, and then I'll turn to the request. So let's answer some typed questions first. So if you're on YouTube, you're on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, feel free to put your question in the comments. All right, so I'm going to start with Instagram. So how many weeks can you receive the reply if you apply for asylum? So we apply for asylum electronically for affirmative asylums, and we get that right away. So as soon as we file it, we get the receipt notice. If I'm married to a U.S. citizen, how long does it take for my papers to go through? I would prepare for a year to year and a half for the process to go through. They're doing a lot of background checks, so background related checks. They're doing screenings. So to check if there's any anti-Americanism, they're screening for fraud now. And then they're doing the regular FBI background check. So you can expect that is going to add to the processing times. And the pattern I'm seeing as well is they're calling interviews early, and then they are continuing once they call the interview early for marriage base, especially they call the interview. The interview is a part of the fraud screening. And so they're on the front end. They were doing the interviews at the back end, but I'm seeing a pattern where interviews are now at the front end of it. And then it's followed by them looking at doing the fraud screening. So even those are taking some time to get a decision after the interview. Good night. What's the wait time for VAWA? I'm going 4 to 3 months. So yes. Now, what we have been seeing is about 3 to 3.5 years, but keep in mind that the USCIS has their processing times, and their processing times go longer, right? So we see the shortest time frame that it can take, but then they go to the longest. And right now it is over 3 years. So I haven't looked at it lately, but I'm pretty sure it went beyond 3 years for the longest case types. So applicants can fall anywhere within that range. I wouldn't necessarily panic if you have I don't know if you have your work permit, but if you have your work permit, you have the 5-year work permit that can help to keep you stable, keep you steady until you get the decision. But of course, it doesn't make it less worrying. You want to get to the end of the process, so I definitely understand. But What I sometimes say is if you haven't gotten a decision and they have not asked you for anything, then it means that they don't need anything right now. So you at least you don't have to stress about providing additional information through a request for evidence or even annoyed. But yes, it's quite a wait. Is everybody getting an interview? So yes, if you are applying for marriage based, plan for an interview to happen. Now, VAWA, we are still getting 10-year green cards for VAWA applicants without the interview. So no, but keep in mind, at the point you're submitting the petition, they are doing interviews for the VAWA petition. But then they once again do the interview and then determine whether the application is credible and or whether there's something going on in that application. At that point they then put it on track for a decision going forward. So the interview is happening more at the forefront of the VAWA petition process, and then the green card comes after it's approved. How do you think the status for Uniting for Ukraine program be updated next year? There's a new fee, so maybe they will extend next year. Just your opinion. So I don't really want to speak on this until I really read more about it, look into it, about the program. They at this time they have not terminated it. They've moved to terminate other things like TPS and the parole program, but obviously they're holding off on terminating this. And so depending on what's happening between Russia and Ukraine, whether they come to a deal, whether they stop the conflict, I really believe the decision is going to be based on that, and relations, because things are tense in the negotiation process. So it's all going to whether it's there next year is going to depend on how things really play out in the whole the diplomatic process, and negotiations right now. Have you heard about cancellation of USCIS family-based interviews? So no, not specifically that they're canceling all interviews. I have not heard anything about that. File VAWA 2022, how long more for approval? So I would say when you should start looking for a decision is around the 3-year mark. But keep in mind that the longest range goes over 3 years right now. But I would say you can start looking at about the 3-year mark. All right, great questions. Okay, so I'm on TikTok. I'm going to look at questions first, type questions, and then I'm going to take some live guests. What it means TPS expired date 50 days, but DHS say nothing. I'm not sure. So there for some case types, so for some TPS programs, they're not renewing those. So some courts have said that they've blocked the sudden termination of TPS. However, what it does mean though is that they are going to they won't extend it. They won't extend the expiration. So once it's expired, it's no longer available. If you have any other facts that can help me, just go ahead and let me know. All right. It's been 10 months till waiting for my green card with family. So I would say you're within processing times. We got an approval for I-601 3 months ago. USCIS has not sent it anywhere. What's going on? Check with them. It sounds like if they have an approval, you haven't received it, check with them to see what's going on. I'm in a J1 visa in US and want to change to H1B. Am I exempt to the 100K? So good news is that they have now said that applicants, the $100,000 fee is going to apply to international applicants. If you're here in the United States and you're applying for H1B, then it likely won't apply. I'm going to look through that in detail to give you more details, but that's the good news right now. If you are in court, definitely give us a call. We are representing clients before the court now, so make sure you're getting in touch. Make sure you get in touch with us so we have the time to do this. Thank you for the love. I appreciate it. I'm on filing. My visa expired December. Do I have to apply? So if you're here in the United States, you're applying. I'm not sure where you are. This seems very general. I'm going to need some more information. If you want to join me live, you can do that. Hop on live to ask. My marriage USC based green card had been pending since 12th November last year. Is this normal processing times? So I would say, yeah, you're still within normal processing times, and you can check their range of processing times on the website, and you'll see how long the longest time is taking for them to process marriage base. But I would say that within a year is still within your processing times. We got an approval letter, but they haven't sent it to the consulate in Jamaica. So in a case like that, where you have the approval, but there's no movement, I would definitely contact NVC to see what's going on, and also see if they are willing to expedite the case, because there's some there was some disconnect between the approval for the I-601 and sending it to the consulate so that they can continue to process your application. If a case was denied for adjustment and then placed back in processing, what does that mean? So I've seen this before, and usually it's for technical reasons. Now, this is rare, but if they find that the case is fixable, or that there was a mistake made on their end, they will open it back up. I've seen that before. They actually proactively open it back up and then continue the process. So it could mean that you don't have to refile or that you don't have to appeal. Now, keep in mind that if I don't know why it was denied. So whether or not that's good news is really going to depend on the reason for the denial. And then we could look at, why is it back in process? What needs to be done to make sure it continues on the right path? So this is where you should really look into having an attorney. Make sure you have an attorney represent you in this. I'm in 520 days. VAWA done all major part, filed a green card, prima facie extension. Yes, so we are seeing that across the board. Processing times from the receipt notice to decision, these are taking much longer. So I understand the frustrations, but this is definitely the reality of the situation. And of course, it's because of what they're doing, how they're processing applications, the changes they're making on the back end. Now, 520 days, I would have to look to see, is that still within the range of time that it takes to process a VAWA, an I-360? If it's outside, you can always then reach out to, well, what we usually do is we reach out to the VAWA unit attorneys have a special email that we can use to contact them in order to sort something out or inform them of something. And at that point, we would then submit an inquiry back via email, just saying it's outside of case processing times. Sometimes that does nudge them into action on your case. If you have an attorney, talk to your attorney to see what can be done there. My spouse is here in USA working on H-1B, and I don't make enough money, but he does. Do we need joint? So with this situation, if you are, I believe you can do they can do the adjustment of status if they are here on legal status and they're working. But this is definitely, here's the deal. I'm giving you general information. I'm not your attorney, and this is where it's so important to make sure that you get an attorney. The affidavit of support is often overlooked in the process, but is often one of the most important documents. And I would say when everything else is great, that document can be the downfall of the entire process. If you don't have the affidavit of support right, they will deny. So in this case where you don't make enough money, he's on legal status as H-1B, then I would have to verify. I do believe that once they're on legal status, they make sufficient money that they can show that. However, we would have to verify that because that's usually it's unusual. In most cases, it's going to be the petitioner that's going to sponsor. But there are cases where they will look at the immigrant's assets or the immigrant's income to be able to approve that affidavit of support. So get in touch with us. Let's talk to you about the process and make sure you're doing it right. You're submitting that affidavit of support correctly, with all the right requirements. All right. So what I'm going to do now, I am going to start. Let me see. Good night. My biometrics 6 months ago for T visa work permit. How long does it take so I would say about 8 to 10 months is the processing timeline for work permits for the T visa work permit while you wait. All right, so I'm gonna accept a guest here, and let's see if I can fix the lighting. Hello, good night.
Hello.
Hi, good night.
Thanks a lot. Appreciated the fact that you have been doing this program for a lot of people who have immigration problems, and I just want to say I have people who say you did a case for them, and they're trying so better, and I want to appreciate whatever work you put into this. People having to have sleepless nights and stuff like that. For example, me for one.
Thank you. I appreciate you taking the time to let me know this. Thank you so much. It's my pleasure.
Thank you as well. What I want to find out is that I went for my interview about exactly 4 months ago, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I it was pretty much okay with the interview, and mm-hmm. then after that, the visa, the interview, USCIS officer was like, she's trying to pull up a name, and then they have like 2 names popping up, right? So, have I ever used any other name in my application or whatever, in any document? And I said no, because I have never used any other name apart from the name I have. So I was quick to say no. But after I got out of the interview room, then I remembered that back in the day, 2010, I did apply for a visa in my home country, right? Yeah. And my surname was rather my middle name, and my middle name was my surname. So I was like, no, I had to change my middle name to make it more, because it was almost getting to like almost all my documents, right?
Mhm.
So I went over and then went for an affidavit, and I did change my name to the correct one. So my last name became my middle name, and my middle name became my surname. So then that was correct. So I went for the interview 10 years later, 2023, and then I went for the interview, and then my visa was approved. So, but the interview officer did ask me that, hey, I'm seeing that you did you did change your name from how do you call it, your surname, and I was that of the way she asked the question. I was like, yeah, because I really wanted to maintain my family name, like my surname, so I didn't want it like off my document. And then so I went to sign an affidavit, like, and then she said okay, so she approved my visa, and I got to the state. So after some months, I got married to a U.S. citizen, and then we went for the interview. I had within about 3 months, I had my EAD, and like I said, went for the interview, went pretty much well, and then she was trying to tune up my data, and then that was when she actually made me understand that she got 2 names popping up. But have I ever like used any other name? And I said no, because I was scared that maybe some fraudulent act, or maybe some scam people might have used my name for selling like stuff. So I did not get that thing. My mind could not draw to the fact that I had changed my surname, but I thought it was whole like different name altogether. So I was quick to tell her that no, I might change. So it was later that I got out of the interview room. Then I was trying to cast my mind back, and I remember that I did change my surname, but I didn't pay much attention to that, because I thought once how to call it, the visa officer back home did grant me the visa, she had that correction made.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay. So the same visa. Well, I think I got enough information, because I think you're worried about the consequences of you going in, not remembering. It sounded like you didn't remember at the time, or you couldn't pinpoint exactly what she was referring to about a name change until you got out. And so you didn't get a chance to correct that with her in that interview. Okay. Did you enter the country with the same visa where you had that name, or do you enter with a different visa?
Exactly. Yeah, I did. Exactly. Yeah, I did enter the country with the name, the correct name that I changed.
Okay. The name that you have now.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah, it's my passport, and that's every document that I used to fill it.
But it's on the record though. It's on the record from that visa that you had your name changed.
Exactly. Sure.
Okay.
It was on the record that it was. Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah. I don't know. So this, yes, it's always best to make sure that you make corrections in the interview. I'm not your attorney. I'm giving very general information, but in cases where we're concerned, and then one other thing is you did not put that alternative name on your application.
No, I did not.
Okay.
No, I thought that was my name. The names never changed. Like, it was the same name, but it was just the surname and the middle name that was changed. Was switched around. My middle name, it was switched. Yeah, that's
okay.
That's the word. Like, it was switched around.
Okay. So in that case, yeah.
I asked her that how long it was going to take for them to get back to me, and then she said it was going to take like 3 months, right? Yeah. So it's been like 4 months now, and I've not heard from them. Right. I'm just getting worried. I don't know what the consequence might be. Like, from your standpoint as an experienced lawyer, what's your take on the fact that I had that name change, and then that has to do with that, and also the time frame that you on top of your mind, on the average, not exactly, but on the average, you think they might possibly get back to you, and what the next step I'm supposed to take. Yeah. So in cases, in a case like this, I would say that I would not be too concerned. However, under this administration, they may have additional questions, and maybe that's even prompting an additional search because of the name difference and because it wasn't explained at the interview. There may be looking into that a little further. But based on what you've said, it's not that name change.
it should not be tied to any kind of wrongdoing or fraud or immigration violations, because it's on the record at the visa stage. You didn't try to hide that you changed your name. Throughout the process, it has been recorded that you changed your name. So it would be highly unlikely that there would be any kind of wrongdoing here, unless, I'm going based on the facts that you're telling me. But this, probably the name issue, has then prompted additional background checks that is taking longer. So I have seen situations like this where they've had name issues. So, for example, if the name is very similar to another name where there is something coming up, that's, like a past immigration violation or some red flag popping up, I have seen, or they're doing extra verifications for the name, I have seen the case go a bit longer. And then when we've done the case inquiry, the justification is that they have to do additional background checks. Now, in this case, after the interview, at the 120-day mark, you can put in a case inquiry. And the case inquiry could then nudge them to make a decision or tell you why they are taking longer than usual to give you the decision. The good news, I mean, it can come at any time, but if they do have additional questions, they're going to send it either in a request for evidence and maybe annoyed, which is annoyed is they're still giving you a chance to answer questions. But in this case where it's an innocent, you just didn't remember, but it's on the record, there's a clear explanation for that name change. I would say worst case scenario, it is very easy to explain what the discrepancy was with the name, and then it's not material, so it's not leading to any kind of fraud or misrepresentation. So I would, wait on the 120 days and then put in a case inquiry and see what their explanation is from there.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
But like I said, it's gone past the 120 days. Like, it's been like almost 100 and like 150 days now. Like, it's been 4 months.
So, do you have an attorney?
I don't have an attorney.
Okay. So I would say since you're over that time, you can put in a case inquiry and see what their explanation is. That could be the start of the process. Actually, that is really the appropriate measure to start. Is first, okay, it's over 120 days since the interview, and you need to find out, you should have had a decision by now, and you need to know, why you can't have a decision, or can they make a decision now? So the case inquiry is going to be the best course of action. But keep in mind, I'm not your attorney. This is general information that I'm giving you.
What's your number? Like,
yeah.
Can I get in touch with you?
So,
or how do I do the case inquiry?
Yeah.
And,
so
let me ask you, like, on top of mind, like, ideally, what's the time frame that they use in handling cases like that? Not exact, but at least the time frame for doing that.
Yeah. So how long did it take for you to get that interview?
It did not take too long. I just filed in my application that was on the November 8th, 2024, and I got my work authorization January 15th, 2024.
And then when was the interview?
The interview was June 24th.
Okay. So based on my experience, marriage base, you're still looking at about a year to a year and a half. That's just a realistic timeline that I've seen when it comes to marriage base. But in the case where you've had an interview, then you could check in with them to see what's the holdup. And, I've seen where they say they're doing extra background checks. So that the case inquiry is going to be the best action, seeing that it's 120 days old, more than 120 days from the interview. No, the phone number is 561-405-4889.
Wait, let me write it. Let me get my pen. Just a second. 1 second. Okay, I'm here.
So it's 561-405-4889.
561-405.
4889.
4889. Okay.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
All right. So just give us a call. What I would say is we usually put in case inquiries for our current clients, but we don't usually do that for individuals who aren't our clients. But give us a call just because they do an initial evaluation, and that can help our team determine whether we can move forward with something for you.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Well, thanks again for your time.
Okay.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right. Okay. I'm going to turn this up so we can all hear on the other platforms. Hi there, Demaine on YouTube. Hi, Rodwayne. What does response for additional information received case was updated to that for I-360 Expedite, but I wasn't aware, but it forward. I'm not sure what that's saying. So I'm not, it's looking like you had received case was updated to that for I-360 Expedite. So it might be before an officer for an expedite, or it might even be approved for an expedite. And so it's that officer is reviewing it to expedite. Keep in mind USCIS's idea of expedite and the NVC's idea of expediting is about 4 months, right? Or so you think when you do an expedite, it's going to be right away. It still takes time. I would say on average, a couple of months. But when you look at an expedite, it could bring it forward a year or more. It's just that it still takes a few months to get that expedite. And sometimes it does take persistence to get that expedite. So, for example, we were able to obtain an expedite for our client who is doing an interview at the embassy in Jamaica. And it took us twice to be able to put in that expedite. So, right now, persistence is also very important in advocating for clients, especially now. So, just a note that sometimes you do have to try multiple times. How long does it take to get an interview date? Your interviews come within 2 months of applying, as early as 2 months. Doesn't mean you'll get it, or every case is different, but we are seeing the pattern where interviews are coming earlier, and then they're making a decision later, just because they're doing extra checks at the same time. All right. So I'm going to now on Instagram. Go ahead. If you want to join me on Instagram, you can send me a request, and you can join me on Instagram live as well. Okay. So I have one. Oops. Okay. I just went ahead and accepted. How much do you charge for the consultation? $150. Now, we do an initial evaluation first. The initial evaluation allows our team for free to be able to determine whether there is an option that we could potentially help you with. And that helps because you're not wasting your time and money. You're going straight into a strategy session with one of our attorneys. Okay, I saw a request, but it didn't go through. So on Instagram. So I'm taking requests on Instagram. It's been 8 months now. How long for BFD, EAD, for T visa? I appreciate your answer. So I would say 8 to 10 months. Now keep in mind that my estimation is an estimate based on my experience. It's not saying you should be going and knocking down the doors of USCIS saying, Attorney Sharifa said 8 months, right? It's an estimation based on my experience, but I don't have it down to a science, and some cases may take longer than others. Also, keep in mind that the BFD, EAD, while we have been getting those for our clients, is still discretionary. So that means it's not a certainty that it's going to be granted, but we have been getting good results for BFDs for our clients and the EADs for the T visa. But it's also something that isn't down to a T, means you're going to get it on the 8th month or even on the 10th month. But that's the pattern I'm seeing, 8 to 10 months after applying. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and accept somebody else on TikTok because I didn't see any more requests on Instagram. Hello, good night.
Good night.
How are you?
I'm okay.
All right, thanks for joining me.
I'm a previous client of yours.
Yes. Hi.
Yes, back in 2023, I used your service and I was successful.
Yeah.
I had my baby here in United States, but I brought her back since she was 3 months back in Jamaica. And she hasn't been back in the US since. Is that a problem, or is it going to be a problem? Because I'm here now in the US working and I want her to come back and to visit. Then I'll take her back to Jamaica.
Yeah. So no, as your baby is, how is your baby, by the way?
She is great. She's doing great.
So going to school now or still under the care?
No, she's actually 22 months.
Oh, okay. I know we start early in Jamaica.
Yeah, not until January.
Okay. So she's close.
Yes.
Well, your daughter is a U.S. citizen, so she can stay outside of the United States for as long as you want her to, as long as she wants to, and she'll be fine. I would just say update her passport. Make sure you're just renewing her passport when it's due.
Yes.
But it's not gonna create issues. And of course, it shouldn't affect you because of course everything went nicely with you.
Right.
So what I would say though, and this is based off of personal experiences, I was born here in the US and I was raised in Jamaica. And what I had to do was I had to get what's similar to a green card in Jamaica. So you just have to make sure if she's in Jamaica.
She has what you call it, a dual citizenship. I did that.
Oh, nice.
Her.
Okay, good.
Yes.
So she's good then. She's good.
She's good then.
Yes.
Okay. Next thing, would they? Because my father would be bringing her because he's the only one there that has a visa. Would that be a problem at the airport, being that he's a male and he's her grandfather and she's a baby?
Yeah. So while first of all, I don't want to give specific legal advice here. If you want to send us a message privately, we can talk.
Definitely, I still have my platform open.
Okay, good. Okay. So I'll look out for that. But in general, it should not be a problem. If they have questions, though, you should draft a letter. Make sure it's like an affidavit. And this is general, just when you're traveling with a child, to make sure that you're providing a letter giving permission on this date, that date, just so that they understand that there is a proof of the relationship of the person traveling with the child. I mean, I've seen relatives travel with the children, but seeing that now we're in this, the US, they're gonna definitely have more. They may have more questions coming in, especially if he has a visa, baby has citizenship, then there may be some additional questions there. So I would
Okay.
say, and the risk is higher, just higher that, you get stopped, one thing leads to the next, and before you know
That's
it.
what I'm afraid of.
Right.
Because being that she's a citizen and my father is not a citizen,
Yeah.
and she's not traveling with her parents,
Right.
so to speak.
I can
don't want-
see,
yeah.
I can see issues there. I can see where it can, that can happen,
Right.
especially traveling with a visa. So you can send us a message privately, and then we can I can talk to you about some of the pros and cons. So
Right.
so you can be fully informed and going in. But I can see where, for example, does that the main question an officer is asking is there any indication that you're coming in with a visa that you have the intent to stay? So, for example, granddad's coming with a U.S. citizen daughter to join mother here. Then is there some kind of intent to stay?
Right.
Right. And it's like, okay, everybody, the whole family is coming now to stay. So I know that's not the intention, but that's where the
Right.
officer's mind could go. So,
Yeah.
I would just write us and write me directly, and then we'll talk privately.
All right. Thank you.
It was nice talking to you.
Yeah. Thank you. Nice talking to you too.
Yes. Okay. Talk soon.
All right. Bye.
Bye bye. Okay. Let's see. Okay. And we have some more, so I'm gonna take one more person on. Okay. Hi, good night.
Good night, ma'am.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. Thanks for joining me.
I like your makeup.
Oh,
Never mind, I don't know how to do it.
Thank you.
I just want to ask a quick question.
Yes.
Can O1 and O2 visa travel in and out of US without any problem, like going to any country, also your home country?
So, yes, having a visa. So, there's a difference between having a status and having a visa. So, if you have the visa, you are granted the visa at the embassy in your country, then those visas are designed to allow you to travel back and forth. But
because we are already living in the US with it, we have our social, we have our state ID, everything. But all this thing here, I have to go home. My daughter gave birth. My first grandson died from brain cancer.
Oh, I'm sorry.
And she now gave birth to a second grandson. So I'm happy about it, but she has a few complications, and I want to go home to see whatever procedure they're going to operate, because this is my eldest child.
Yes.
And I want to go home, but still you're worried because I still have my other kids in high school, one preparing for graduate for college and the other one. So you're still worried in a way. And I know God said not to have a spirit of worry, but of love, power, and a sound mind, but still you're only human.
Yeah, that's right. And you always have to take into consideration the risk. Now, which country is your home country?
My home country is Guyana.
Okay. So, of course, Guyana is not on any banned list. So that definitely means that you don't have any worries there. It depends on your particular circumstances, whether there's something you're worried about. And like, if there's something you're worried about, we can talk, we can talk in an appointment.
I'm not worried about anything. It's just that all the laws and all the things that they are changing.
Yeah.
And my kids, my son tried to unalive himself in May.
Oh, I'm sorry.
And I don't want, I'm worried that if I leave and anything go wrong, my kids may not feel
You'll be
comfortable me being
separated.
away, but I just want to go for 7 days and come back. It's not I don't want to go stay or anything.
Yeah.
But I know persons have the same visa as us, and they travel, they went home, they come back.
Yeah.
When people said, people luck are not your luck. But we haven't committed any crime. We haven't done anything that is illegal or anything of such in the country. So I don't know why am I worried.
Yeah, it's natural. I mean, you know, everybody's worried right now. So you're definitely not going through something different. I don't usually I can't give specific legal advice to you. I can only speak very generally. And I think when it comes to giving legal advice, for example, with my clients, I really like to know, I need to know details about them.
Things
I do
about
know.
them, correct. But
right?
I travel out in March. I came back in April. But after this extra stuff that starts to go on, you know, most of you're scared because I was to be there for my daughter giving birth and I was not there. And then I said, you know, I'm worried, but I'm still coming. And she said, Mom, all this is going on, you still haven't come. You know, but it's all different. My daughter's a teenager. She now seeing a boy she like. You don't want to go off. And
yes, you want. Now you have the 0102, right? You and your spouse.
Correct.
Okay.
Yes. So my husband is the person that has it.
Yes.
Okay.
And then you have the 02.
And we come under him.
Right. So I would say generally, when you have a visa like this, it's generally it's okay that the visa is there for you to move back and forth, just as long as there's nothing in your background that you are worried about. So I would say and this is
like we had 2 10-year visa before we got it. We never breached it, we never overstayed it. We were very to the legal right. The only time I think I spent a couple of times is my mom. She's diabetic, and she got sick a couple of times. And my sister, one live in Jersey, one live in Atlanta. And they asked me to stay to look after her, and I did stay. I never overstayed. I stayed within the 6 months, and I went back.
Exactly.
The other day, my small sister, she finally get through now to be here with my mom to help my mom because I cannot work in the country. Legally, I cannot work here, period. It's just my husband providing for us to do everything. So me going back and forth to look after my mom, it was difficult because I have 2 teenage kids. So my sister was fighting, and my sister finally get to come. And she's here with my mom now because after my mom took the vaccine, every time she go to the doctor, she pressure always high, her cholesterol always high, her diabetes always high. And the doctor said they don't know what is going on. Sometimes she stay just as she collapse, sometimes she's not doing good. You know, and all these different things.
You definitely have a lot of responsibilities. But I would say generally, I would leave it to you to seek personalized legal advice. But generally, when you have a visa, you can travel back and forth. But I leave it to you as your responsibility that if there's anything, I know you said there's not, and that's fine. But I have to leave it to you then to just
I still want to ask. You know, sometimes there's nothing there, but like I said, we are human. We live in the flesh.
That's right. I know it's a worrying time. Yeah,
it's a worrying time for everybody. Although you know you're doing all the legal steps, you're going through the legal protocol. You're not breaching any law. You're not troubling anything. But still, in your heart, you go out on the road and you still feel uncomfortable because you don't know. I just gotta make certain I get my state ID to show them I have my ID, I have my stuff.
And that's all you can do. Like for example, with me, a lot of people are saying they want to hide, and I am telling people they need to follow the legal process. By applying, right? Because that's where they get protection. That's how they're doing the right thing, is by seeking legal protection. So in your case where you are complying with your visa, everything looks good. You have a current valid visa. That visa does enable you to move back and forth.
Okay.
Yeah, so
That's the only thing I wanted to know, because my daughter damaged my daughter uterus inside.
Yeah,
I don't want them to do a procedure, because my grandson that did not diagnose him properly with the cancer, they didn't know how to treat him, and that is how he died.
Oh my God.
So I don't want them to do any procedure with my daughter, and I lose as my eldest child. I don't want to lose my daughter.
Yes,
So
of course. And this is a situation.
And my husband contacted his lawyer, and he said, yes, it's fine. But people just blow you off because they don't deal with your business. They no longer do business with you.
Yes.
So I said, I'm going to still look for, and find out. And when I saw you on, I was like, yes. Father, please let me get you and talk to her.
Yes. But keep in mind that I'm not giving you specific legal advice.
No.
Yeah.
I now feel a lot better because I know my visa's protocol, my staff social, I have my health card, I have my state ID, everything I have.
Everything, yes.
And same thing, my kids, I said, try not to get yourself in trouble. We are only here for a limited time. We want to follow protocol. We want to follow the rules of the country. So when we have to go home back and anything happen and we got to come back, we are fine.
Right.
But in the meantime, follow the rules of the country. Follow the rules of the land. That is all I care about. That is all I've been doing since I come to America. When my grandmother died 18 years ago. And this is all I've been doing. I never jump out, did anything as well, and I'm very comfortable, because when you come to the airport, you always feel jumpy because you don't know what they're gonna throw at you.
Yeah. It's. I think it's definitely we're all going through that. Even I am, traveling. You just, you want to make sure we just know a lot is going on, and so that makes us nervous. But thank you so much for joining me here.
I love this. I thank you very much. I appreciate this. Have a blessed evening.
You too. Thank you. All the best, and all the best going forward with your travels and family.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. All right. So I am going to call it a night. Thanks so much, everybody, for joining me. Now I am aiming to come back tomorrow. I got disconnected from Instagram. So I'm going to go on there very quickly to just catch up on some questions. So if you want to join me there, you're free to join me there. I'm going to be there for another 15 minutes, but I just got disconnected. So I don't want to leave my friends on Instagram hanging like that. So I'm going to jump on there. So join me there for maybe another 5 to 10 minutes, depending on how things go. And then we can continue talking. So join me. I'm Immigration Lawyer Sharifa on Instagram. So join me there. I think the link is also on the profile page. Thanks for joining me. Follow, like, subscribe. 4.8 thousand views. Thank you so much for that. That means other people are seeing information that's going to empower them through their immigration journey. And it also means that I can pop up on your screen when I go live. You can hop on with me. So go ahead and just take action so that you can join me next time that I come live. I try to do this Monday through Friday. It has been a very busy week this week, but I'm aiming to do this tomorrow and Friday again. Have a good night, everybody. I'll see you on Instagram shortly. Bye-bye. All right, so I am see a few questions on Facebook and YouTube that I want to answer here. So I filed for VAWA on September 16, 2025. They received the case on September 18, 2025. My I-130 was withdrawn by my spouse, was case because I-485 because of that, I-485 got denied. Now my old I-485 is updated to case is processing. So just check to see did they reopen the I-485 and attach it to your VAWA, because that may have been what happened. Check with your lawyer if you have a lawyer. If you don't have a lawyer, then check in with USCIS to see. Sometimes too, what happened, the case status doesn't update. So did it go from denied to now in process again, or has it always been in process? Because sometimes they may deny the I-485, but they never updated it on their case status. So the question is, do you have to refile an I-485 so you can get a work permit again and continue to get protection while you wait for a decision to be made? So do you think they will open my old I-485 and link with VAWA? I have the same priority date. Now, that's where we need to figure that out. You need to verify whether the denied I-485 has been reopened or has it been denied and that's confirmed. If it's been denied and confirmed, then what I would usually do is file an I-485 ASAP to make sure that you continue to get protection. So that would be what I would do in this case. But keep in mind, this is where you definitely get legal assistance. If you have a lawyer, talk to your lawyer about the strategy going forward. Hi there, Damien. Hi, Karen. Thanks as always for joining. Thank you, everybody, for being here. I'm going to hop on to Instagram shortly. So please join me on Instagram if you are on Instagram. I'm immigration lawyer Sharifa. I'll see you shortly. I'll spend another about 5 or 10 minutes there. Thank you.